Imagine sending your teenage daughter to buy sweets for her birthday, and instead, she is ambushed by 6 older women screaming that she is unchristian and a bad sister. That's what my ex-mother-in-law orchestrated. But what she didn't realize, I had a weapon she could never defend against: the truth. And when I unleashed it, her entire church turned on her. If you've ever tasted the sweet satisfaction of karma striking back, smash that like button, subscribe for more true revenge stories where justice doesn't just knock, it kicks down the door. And let me know in the comments, what is the most unbelievable lie you've ever heard someone tell? I'm a 46-year-old widow. I live with my 2 daughters, 17 and 15. Their father, my ex-husband, died last year in a tragic accident. But grief wasn't what destroyed us. Betrayal was. See, before his death, my ex had an affair. A long one. He fathered 2 sons with another woman. And when he died, she died shortly after too, leaving those boys orphaned. Now, instead of rallying around my daughters, who had just lost their father, my ex-in-laws, both nearly 80, decided to wage war. They tried to take custody of my daughters. They tried to move into our home. And when I refused, they painted me as the villain. Here is the reality: my daughters were the ones who discovered their dad as cheating in the first place. They were the ones who told me. And they were the ones who carried the crushing guilt of breaking the family, even though it wasn't their fault. They've been in therapy since. So when my ex-in-laws pressured them to be good sisters to those affair children, it wasn't just cruel, it was re-traumatizing. It all came to a head at the weekend market. It was my youngest's birthday. Instead of a big cake that day, I gave her some money and told her to buy anything her heart desired. She skipped through the stalls, filling her bag with chocolate, candies, little treats. She was smiling, free. Until she wasn't. About an hour later, my phone rang. Her voice cracked with panic. "Mom, some women won't let me leave." My blood ran cold. I grabbed my oldest and ran. And there she was, my 15-year-old, pressed against a vendor's stand, tears streaking down her cheeks, surrounded by 6 older church women. They circled her like vultures. "You're unchristian," one spat. "You're dishonoring your grandparents," another hissed. "You should be a good big sister to those poor orphan boys." My daughter shook her head, sobbing, whispering, "Please stop." Red. I pushed through, planted myself between them and her, and told my oldest, "Pay for the candy. Take her to the car, now." Then I turned to face the pack, and oh, they knew me. These weren't strangers. These were women from my ex-in-law's church, or the same church I used to attend back when I was still trying to make the marriage work. One woman sneered, "You're worse than her. You failed as a wife and mother. A good Christian woman obeys her husband's parents." Another added, "You've abandoned your duties. Shame on you." My fists clenched so hard my nails dug into my palms. I wanted to scream. Instead, I gave them a verbal lashing they'll never forget. The shouting grew so heated the market manager kicked us all out, and as I walked to my car, those women followed me, screeching like a mob. When I slammed the car doors shut and pulled away, my daughters were shaking, and inside me, something cracked. This wasn't just harassment. This was war. That night, after tucking my girls into bed, I reached out to a church friend I still trusted. And he confirmed my suspicion: my ex-Mill was behind it all. She had posted a massive sob story in the church's Facebook group. According to her, my daughters and I had abandoned her and her husband. We had left them penniless, which was false. They got my ex's will and assets. We refused to care for their grandsons, making us heartless. But the worst part, to cover her son's cheating, she spun an outrageous lie. She claimed the other woman wasn't his mistress, but our surrogate, and I supposedly rejected the boys because they weren't girls. My stomach turned. How dare she?
But here's the thing, I had proof. All of it because when my ex died, our divorce wasn't finalized. Which meant I still had every piece of evidence I had gathered. Photos of him with his mistress, including one of them kissing in our living room. Screenshots of their explicit text exchanges. Messages from my in-laws encouraging his cheating. And the most damning of all, texts and emails where they bullied my daughters. They called my girls bastards. They said it was their fault their father died, because they had exposed his affair, and they sent this filth 2 days after his death. That was my breaking point. I went to a print shop, paid extra for high-gloss, full-color prints. Then, I sat at my kitchen table until my fingers cramped, assembling custom hymn binders. They looked exactly like the ones the church hands out during service. Neat, innocent, perfectly disguised. But when you opened them, the very first page was a full-sized photo of my ex and his mistress kissing in our home, their faces clear. Her skin tone, hair, everything about her screamed not the wife. Beneath it, I wrote, a love story. And inside, page after page of texts, emails, photos, every ugly detail of their betrayal and my in-laws' support of it. The next Sunday, I walked into the church and slid those binders neatly into the stack of hymnals. No one checked, and then, I waited. By Sunday evening, the church's Facebook group was on fire. The gossip mill churned at lightning speed. My ex-husband, once painted as a tragic hero, was now labeled a cheater, a liar, a disgrace. The mistress, called names so vile the pastor had to step in to censor comments, and my in-laws, the very people who had sixed their church on my daughter, they were ripped apart. Members blasted them for enabling their son's sins, for bullying grieving teenagers, for lying to the congregation. Letters of apology began arriving at my door. One addressed to my daughters read, "We failed you. Please forgive us." Another member even invited us back to church for healing support, and my in-laws, they were shunned. Humiliated, my ex-mill took to her personal Facebook, whining about how no one cares for the elderly and how her great son would VA cared for her. Yeah, right, with what money? I was the breadwinner, not him. The same woman who sent 6 church members to scream at my crying daughter in public was now too ashamed to show her face in that same church. The same woman who claimed I was heartless and unchristian was now branded a liar, an enabler, and a fraud. And the best part, I didn't spread rumors, I didn't lie. I simply handed them the truth. In glossy high-resolution, focalar, karma doesn't always arrive on its own. Sometimes, you have to bind it up in a hymn book and let the choir sing it loud. If there's one lesson here, it's this. Never weaponize lies against someone who has the receipts. Because when the truth comes out, and it always does, it won't just set the record straight. It'll burn every bridge you thought would protect you. So tell me, what's the most jaw-dropping revenge you've ever seen? Drop it in the comments, because I'd love to hear your stories. If you enjoyed this tale of justice, served ice cold, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share this video with someone who needs a reminder. Lies may travel fast, but the truth will catch you at church on Sunday morning.